I have friends that I was people that I was dealing with for 30, 40 years. That, people in America, when people retire, they still are called upon. They're asked to come in. And this was Biden wanted an option to blow up the pipeline. And why did he want that? He was afraid that at some point, by September, the war wasn't looking like it's going to be anything but a draw. It's still, you can take it any way you want it. It's still not looking like much of a victory for anybody, but the odds are the people I know who see some really interesting intelligence and are close to the military think it's all Putin's call. How much energy how much money does he want to put into it? And unlike us in the West, Putin controls his arms deep manufacturing. He doesn't have to get contracts with Northrop Grumman. He could just say, I want more. So he's got a lot more weapons at his disposal, a lot more troops that he hasn't put into the game. And I think at this point, it doesn't look so good. But last September, Biden's worry, as much as I can tell, I'm not in his head. The worry was that West Germany and Europe, there's no natural gas, no natural oil in that area. They've always been dependent on outsiders for their gas and oil. He was worried that Germany was under pressure to put more money into the war in Ukraine. And it looked to a lot of people, even people, believe it or not, in NATO, it looks like they're throwing a lot of bad money, a lot of good money after bad. We've now put about $120 billion into that war at a time when we just cut off 15 million people from medical care. Just cut them off at the bottom. We have acute problems like certainly Britain does too. You have to subsidize an awful lot of people in your country to keep it going, particularly on energy. And so I think the only rational explanation I can get from this is that Biden's fear is that Germany at some point may choose to keep gas going in lieu of supporting the war. And so he didn't give him the option. If this is so, this will play out very badly this winter. Europe had a very mild winter, but still prices for energy have gone up astronomically in Germany. And if you're a major, let's say a company, a construction company that's got a big project, you're out of Bonn or maybe out of Berlin, you got a big project in Munich, you're going to build a big housing complex. You have to think, I can't factor in how much my energy costs are going to be. So this stalls a lot of business. And look, the people in Europe are much more interested in this story than you might think. I mean, I don't do politics and I'm not going there to do speeches, but there's a lot of concern about what happened. And so far, the German government has gone along with the American notion that we don't know nothing. And it's been a sad sort of story for the media because they simply don't want to get around the idea that a president, and this in America now, we were terrified by the Trump administration. And so if you want to know what I really think my guess is Biden's certainly going to run again. He'll be 86 when he's done. And I think if anybody's got a shot at being the next candidate, it's Trump again.
Yeah.
If you're going to charge him with paying money to pay off, some babe, you're talking about something that goes on a lot more than we want to talk about. You're not going to get this guy in that case. In fact, you've made a lot of money for him and a lot of voters. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. He's a unique individual. I don't like him very much. On the other hand, a lot of people in America do. And right now, Biden's among the Democrats, he's at 32% in terms of wanting to run again. So we're looking at a real crisis in politics here. And so there's just been a wall. He did such a dumb thing, whether it's certainly illegal in terms of the law we know, economically, he's liable for the damages. Whether it's an act of war is to be decided by not me. But the resistance to the story, as you know, we talked about it when I was on your show a few weeks ago, maintains strong. And when I mentioned the cover story, at some point, when you do an operation like this, the CIA was asked last winter, actually in the 2021, before 3 months before Russia invaded in February of a year and 2 months ago, they were asked to come up with options. So what can we do to forestall them? And there were meetings, and I described them in a lot of detail. And one of the options that emerged is blow up the place. And the CIA was given that assignment. Other agencies were involved too. And Norway is, of course, I actually wrote about this later. Norway has worked with us under dirty tricks in Vietnam. And we were operating inside North Vietnam sort of without anybody in America knowing it. And their hosts the corporations that run some of the largest private merchant marine ships have also done things for us. We just have a long relationship. It's got a 1,400-mile border along the Atlantic Ocean. It goes all the way and meets Russia at the Arctic Circle. And way up north, we've probably put, if not $500 million, more than $1 billion worth of new bases. We've upgraded air bases. We built a new it was a closed submarine base they had Norwegians used in World War II. We rebuilt it. We put in a more advanced radar. We monitor Russia we made Norway a #1 target for Russia too, by the way. But the Norwegians are great sailors. And the first thing that the CIA team that was involved was to head to Norway, because we don't know much about the Baltic Sea. And the one thing about the Baltic Sea that makes putting a mine and blowing up a pipeline under the water is there's no gas and oil there. So what do? If you're an American ship, you suddenly show up and a bunch of divers jump in and a week later something goes off. I mean, that can't work. So it's complicated. And the team ended up thinking, people in the intelligence profession, I'm sure you know some people from some of your 5 and 6 people, they're pretty smart people. And in the end, even though they did what the president told them to do, they began to like it less and less. It didn't make sense, because the option of blowing up a pipeline, and first of all, how do you hide it? I mean, how do you hide who did it? And so here we have the United States of America now in the position, and of course, what they did is they built a cover story.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple-digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone. Also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline. I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up. If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?